So today I'm going to rant about something that's very close to my heart and something that really, really upsets me. Every time I post something about an abused woman who stays with a man, I end up getting all kinds of people just absolutely slamming the woman. I would never let that happen. I would never this. I would never that. What is she thinking? And they start blaming her. Like it's her fault that she got hit. Well, let me tell you, it was not my fault that I got hit. It was not my fault that I went to work every day terrified, hiding bruises, or that he knew exactly where to hit me so that nobody would see it, or that he was so charismatic and so sweet to everybody else that nobody believed he was beating the crap out of me. It's not my fault that to this day I'm claustrophobic because he used to corner me and beat me. It is not my fault. And why did I stay? Well, I was very young, but that doesn't matter because lots of people stay that aren't very young. But I was young, I was scared, I didn't really have anywhere to go. The only person I had was my mother, who he threatened, who after being beat as many times as I was, I believed he really would hurt her. So it was not my fault. And if you're watching this and you're beat up and you're abused, it's not your fault either. Stop blaming the woman. I posted a story this past week about a woman who got burned by her husband, set on fire. She left him. She thought she finally escaped him and she got burned. I almost hesitate to talk about this because I don't want people who are abused to think, oh my God, if I leave, I'm going to get burned. No, you have to get help. You have to get out. I still to this day have a swollen spot on my ear that was given to me close to the end when I finally left. He knocked me out of a chair, just fisted me, and I still have that. But I remember I was so close to being ready to leave, and I remember thinking that I could have died that day. But ultimately, what made me leave? I remember the night to this day. I get chills thinking about it. My son was, I think he was 9 months old, and he was crying. It was the middle of the night. And I remember him saying, "Shut him up. He is making my skin crawl." And I remember tears were streaming down my face, and I thought, okay, this is no longer about me. It's going to turn on my son. I have to be courageous. I have to leave. And I did. The next morning, I called my mother and I said, I'm scared for you. I'm scared for me, but I am scared for my son more than anything. And so after he went to work, we got all of my things and we got out. And I don't know why, but my ex, he must have had a sense. He must have, in some part of him, known I was done. Because a couple hours later, he showed up at my work. And I remember my boss, I get teary-eyed thinking about it. She's no longer with us. Red-headed fireball. I was in the bathroom and I stepped out to find her. She's 5 foot tall and she's going off on my ex, telling him to back off, and she called the police. And it was the beginning of a journey. I mean, he tried to get back with me. He stalked me. I was very lucky. There was a lot of, dealing with the court system to make sure I was protected. It was scary. And I was scared at work too about losing my job. I was very lucky that I had very, very supportive people, even beyond my boss and upper management, because he came to my work. He stalked me. It's a scary, scary, scary thing. The terror that you live in, the fear that he will hurt someone that you love. People don't understand that it's not so easy to leave. It comes with a lot of complications. And you do start really second guessing yourself. You start having these insecurities, wondering if you're good enough without that person. It's crazy. I mean, anyone who knows me knows that is not who I am. To believe that I could be that person, it's hard to believe even for me. But this is a real thing. And when you hear about somebody who's being treated like this, please do not judge them. Do not judge them, and don't say that would never be me, because you never know. One day it could be you. To those of you who are out there struggling, you are not alone and you can get help. Please find a way to get out. I know when you feel like you have nowhere to go, it's hard. I mean, one of the reasons I ended up with my ex was that my mother and I didn't have a great relationship. I still love her. I loved her then, and I still was fearful of losing her, but I didn't feel like I had a lot of help. And there are many women who stay because they don't know how they will survive outside the relationship. But what I can say to you is if you don't survive outside of the relationship, you might not survive. One hit to the head, one punch in the wrong place could kill you. An example I'll give you is that I owned a staffing agency years ago, and we had a woman who was leaving a job site. We were evacuating because of ice, and she fell and hit her head, and she died. It was tragic. I cried so many tears over this. And they said that she could have fallen several stories off a building and survived, but she had hit the exact right spot to die. They can punch you in the exact right spot and you will die. And if your children are there, who will protect them then? So please get help. And I hope that all of you listening to this will think before you judge people in the future. Hi, so if you wonder where I post stories like the ones I talked about today, it would be at author Lisa Renee Jones, my Facebook page. I post a lot of things there. I post fun things, I post silly things, and I don't shy away from hot topics like abuse. Abuse is never a topic that should be ignored, and it's one that can touch any family at any time. So I hope you'll subscribe, I hope you'll come back here to YouTube, and I hope you'll see me at author Lisa Renee Jones. Thank you.